Awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Um, Nice to meet you too, Ben. Big fan of Lord Huron, so
Oh,
very
thanks. Thanks so
excited.
much. That's
Yeah,
great.
very excited to chat. So what made you interested in taking the leap from, the band Lord Huron to scoring a film?
I've always been interested in it, honestly, and kind of some of the genesis of my interest in music and movies was, yeah, just from the way they work together. Like I remember watching movies as a kid and kind of being very aware that the music was adding a lot
Hmm.
and changing the way I felt in a very real way. Um, and I was interested in that, and once I started kind of uh, wanting to express myself and finding a way to do that, music's always seemed like a really great way to do that. So from a very young age, I was trying that, and I guess anytime I can support a narrative with the music, that's really interesting to me. The way that, yeah, the way you can communicate these mysterious things through this medium that seems somehow ingrained in all of us. Everybody has some level of appreciation and understanding of music that's just kind of built into you, and I think
Hmm.
that's really interesting to use in a storytelling setting. So it's sorry to ramble on about that, but to put it more succinctly, it's always interested me. So I've just been kind of waiting for the right opportunity to do it.
So what made the Starling Girl the right opportunity to dive in?
Well, they asked me for first of all, no, but I met with Laurel and Laurel Parmet, the director, and we just hit it off. And I really loved her vision. And I read the script, and more than anything, it was just the script, reading that and connecting with the story, and really seeing a lot of potential, and most of all, feeling like I could add something to this story.
Hmm.
Um, I really appreciated the subtlety of it, and I think everybody can relate to a coming of age story, but there was a lot of it that I really connected with and thought was interesting and hadn't been done in that way necessarily. And I thought about it and I said I think I could write some music that would add to this story. And thankfully Laurel agreed, and we took it from there.
Yeah, we chatted a bit about your music yesterday. I talked to her and we were talking about how there's this like unsettling undercurrent that kind of exists throughout the score that mirrors the main relationship
Mhm.
of the movie. And it's also something that I feel like is present in the work as Lord Huron. Do you feel like that made it kind of easy and like wade gently into the waters because it was kind of a vibe that you were familiar with?
Yeah, I think that was part of what connected me to this story. Definitely. I mean, the types of stories we tell in Lord Huron music is very much about the depth and the complexity of relationships, and of experience. And I think, one of the ways we communicate that sonically is with this sort of, um, yeah, unsettling undercurrent that I think we try to put in everything, because nothing's simple, and there's always sort of um, complex layers underneath the surface, and that's kind of what we're trying to communicate with that. And sometimes we do it lyrically, sometimes we do it with certain sounds, but yeah, I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to take that idea and expand on it. And luckily, that was kind of exactly what Laurel had in mind too. So when I sent her the first batch of ideas, I was very nervous, first of all, because I was like at my first foray into this. But I had her into the studio, and I just played her this 14 minutes of music that I'd made, and luckily, she really connected with it and could see it that had a place in the movie. So a lot of that stuff ended up making it to the final cut.
Wow. Did you score off of just the script, or did you get to see, some footage from shooting, or was the film completely done?
No, so at first I was just working off the script, and realized that I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself, but wrote way too much music, like, just because again I was trying to nail it. So even before I'd seen anything, I wrote like a few hours of music probably,
Mhm.
um, but then I started to see stuff as they shot, and then I saw a cut, and to Laurel's credit, I mean, not only was it very like true to what I had seen in the script, but it was better. It made it even more um, emotional and visceral, obviously, to see it in that form. So it lined up well with kind of the way I had I had envisioned it, which was cool.
Was there something surprising that you found when you were scoring that you were kind of like an unexpected roadblock or like something creatively really exciting that came about?
I mean, it was all really creative, really exciting creatively. I think the biggest challenge for me was I'm not used to I'm used to expressing my own um, mystery, and to try to get in somebody else's head and kind of find the best way to support what they're trying to do was is challenging. I mean, because you can never be fully inside someone's head, and some of that stuff, as hard as we can try to communicate it to each other, there's just no words for some of those things. So it's a lot of back and forth of trying to get a feel for exactly what someone wants. Because even though Laurel from the beginning was happy with the direction of the score, to get things just right, it takes some it takes some massaging for sure. So I think that was the biggest challenge, and something I think if I do get the opportunity to try this again, will be I'm sure an ongoing um, challenge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you also got to write a new Lord Huron song for the film, Ace Up My Sleeve, right?
Yep.
So what was that experience like? Did Laura already have an idea of what she wanted it to sound like, or kind of just talk me through what that process looked like?
Yeah, that was such a cool opportunity because rarely do you get to write a song for a movie that's actually part of the story. It plays
Mhm.
a role in the narrative. I just was so excited about that because it gave us a chance to kind of inhabit somebody else to write a song, which is something we already like to do when we
Mhm.
write songs. So um, it was cool because it's supposed to be written by the father figure in the movie. So one of the things we wanted to do was think about like how would they have recorded it at the time he would have been recording. What techniques would they have used in the early '90s or whenever this guy would have been having his band? What bands would he have been into um, that he would have used for inspiration? And there was a lot of overlap, I think, with things that we are into too, country music and alt country from that era. And then Laurel sent me a few songs that had inspired her. And I kind of knew the type of song she wanted in terms of themes of the movie. So trying to incorporate the themes of the movie without being, heavy-handed, without it being the Starling Girl or or whatever. That was really fun. So when we recorded it, we did it all live like they would have done probably in that era. Um, just a couple takes. Even if it wasn't perfect, we said
Mhm.
they wouldn't have the money to be in the studio all day, so we have to. It was kind of fun. We kind of got into it being a method, almost a little methody with the way we were doing it. It was great.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Ben, and congrats on the first score.
Thank you. I hope
Thank
there's
you.
more. It's really nice talking to
Absolutely.
you.
I hope so.
Great.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. Good meeting you.